Once and for all, may nag-alok ba sa'yo?
May dumating.
To what? To run?
To run, oo. Na gano'n.
Wala talaga?
None. And I no. I have friends that have done it. Some have won. Great for them. Some have lost. Great also for them. I think the ones that lost kind of felt disillusioned by the process, and they got to see something that they should not have. I think that's kind of the impression I get. That there's even if your heart's in the right place, it's a whole different ball game.
But at some point, diba, parang nag-o-offer ka rin ng opinions mo?
Well, yeah,
politically, diba?
and yeah, sure, I will. But it's our country currently is very divided, and it's anything you say can be misinterpreted either way.
Yes.
And it's like, and there are such wide lines drawn in the sand. If you're not this, you are this, and then vice versa. When I think most people will have a more, even though they're quiet, they will have a more nuanced position with regards to politics, where you will like this person's stand, but you don't like this, and that's life. You can't. It's not naman that you can like 100% about something. You will like maybe 64 or 45 of something else, and politics everywhere in the United States or here. Like if I'm in the U.S., it's like, no, I'm not in favor of this, but I'm in favor of this. Who would ever be in favor of that? And then so even my husband and I will have our own arguments. And I said, yes, we're not, as people, we're not in favor of this, but it should be legal because people's circumstances are not all going to be the same, and you never know when you're actually going to need access to that kind of law to make this happen. It's like, it's complicated.
What can you say about Duterte and his administration?
That's a tough one. That's really, it's a difficult thing. I mean, when I heard about Berna Romulo, when she was appointed to the Department of Tourism, I was thrilled for her, because I know members of the family. So on a personal stand, I'm like thrilled. And when Isa Seguera ended up working for the government, it made me very happy because I know him. I know Isa, I know his wife. I've known Isa since Isa was a she, and Isa was in Itbulaga and as a child. And this is somebody who lives life honestly and full of integrity and honesty. So I'm like, that's amazing. You'll get to make a difference, and you'll get to do something. And it's hard. It's hard to have a nuanced position in a very divisive environment. I'm happy about certain appointees. I'm not happy about certain appointees. There are things where I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. There are things where I'm like, oh, what's going on? And that's a more nuanced position. You can't like everything, and you never will. You can like some things, and that is fine. And that's as diplomatic as I can be about it.
And you also say you don't like changing the last lyrics to our national anthem.
I don't know that it's actually necessary per se.
Yeah.
Because it's all in interpretation too. Yes. The last aming ligaya na pag may mang-aapi ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. It's a lot. It's a lot to live up to, and obviously not everybody's going to be Jose Rizal or Andres Bonifacio. That's just not the way life works. However, you can live to the ideals of the anthem and of the heroes that have come before by living your life and doing what you do in the service of your country and its people. That's it.
Inflation.
Sorry?
Inflation.
Oh God.
Nagtitipid ka rin ba?
Apektado ka ba? Namalengke ka ba? Ganon.
We go to the grocery. We're affected to the point where if there are certain goods and services that we buy that are affected. I don't like it when I see my electric bill go up. I don't like it when the price of vegetables, and we buy locally grown produce, and when you see price tag change, it's like, why? And then you gotta wonder, if we're angry about this, we have to see if it's happened in previous administrations before. And if we got angry then too. And if it happened before and you didn't get angry, then you might have to examine why that is.
Okay, last na lang, comment lang. Kasi yung mga Pinoy, parang gustong-gusto nila manood ng concert pag ikaw kasi nga, parang perfect daw yung buong program.
Yung pa rin yung word, Lea.
Well, I think maybe it's not just the performance. Maybe it's the song selection. Maybe it's Gerard also, and he's a huge factor because we really work so well in sync with one another. Maybe it's the guest performers we choose. Maybe it's a synergistic thing. I think it's if all the elements that come together work in harmony, and that can be perfect. Where all of the elements are just kind of, it's almost like this divine thing that happens, and everything comes together in a way that none of us anticipates. Then I can call that a perfect night. And maybe that's what people comment on. Maybe it's not just one thing. It's a lot of different things. I mean, who have we had as guests before? I mean, Aga has been a guest in my concert, and that is the funniest,
hilarious
guest. It was the most hilarious guest appearance. I watch it from time to time on YouTube just because it's so funny. It's like it was like, for all of the wonderful things that happened in that entire concert, that's the one thing that I really remember. I remember as it was happening, and then I remember watching it on YouTube and hearing BICC howling.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had howling like that since. We've had Jet Pangan, the lead singer of The Dawn, belt out Salamat on stage with me. We have had Ariel Rivera and Ogie Alcacid. I've had Rachel Ango. I've had Esang. We've had like my daughter. Like she can get the audience howling, and she did when she was 8 years old and made that first appearance at the concert with this big smile on her face, and everyone just thought she was so cute. Yeah, I think it's a combination of many things, and Bobby Garcia's direction, and just so many things coming together exactly right.
Lea, about Aga and the movie. I think you mentioned script yung issue.
It's a script, a storyline issue, and
but if you do it your way, what are you expecting for a script?
well, if it's gonna be a love story, if it's gonna have that kind of an angle, it cannot be pa-cute because 47. And nobody would believe it. I think it has to be something that people can look at and go, oh, so that's what
Siguro
people that
fidelity,
age.
or something.
And I don't want that either. I mean, there have been there have been movies already produced that have touched on the subject of infidelity, fidelity, and it's like, I don't think either of our fan bases would like either one of us being unfaithful to the other. So that can't happen. So I think it has to be, I don't know about if self-contained is the right word, but I think it has to be something where people who are our age that watch it will go, yeah, that's exactly what, I absolutely understand exactly what that is.
Ayaw mo ng continuation ng Sanang?
No, that story ended. And we're very different people too. I mean, just as actors, we're different. And no, I think we leave that there.
Lea, sa 40 years na, kinoconsider mo na ba mag-slow down, mag-retire, may ganun ka na?
No, I think as long as I'm
Puno kang
physically
schedule.
able, my schedule is full. But it's not yung full na...
Daily.
Hindi naman. I mean, that my manager in the US, he allows for days of rest and days of adventure and days for me to go eat and enjoy restaurants and travel. Even on a travel day where it's like you don't have a show on a travel day. You travel, you sleep, you rest, you do all that, you take care of yourself, and then you can do a show the next day. Ganon. And then when I travel, like take a long haul flight to the US, I give myself a week before I start performing.
Okay.
What's next with your daughter? I mean, may
School.
chance.
She's done a musical and she's in school, but now she's like approaching 13. So for me, it's like, let's get you out of this awkward age and then we'll think about what happens next. But she is very visually artistic, so that she can continue on no matter what age.
Walang
She
balak
loves to draw.
Walang balak magka-anak pa.
I
Okay na
can't.
isa.
I don't think I can no. I don't think I can handle it. I mean, I've heard some nightmare stories too from some of my friends where they had the perfect first pregnancy, which I had, and then the second one was a nightmare. It's like,
And then,
happy na ako sa isa. Thank you.
Okay.
thank you.